Hi guys, this video is just a quick video to show you how to deal with the portion of the Excel homework section 1.3 where you're asked to find a different value for f of x in order to find its corresponding y value. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen so you can see what we're talking about. All right, so you would have started a new workbook in Excel. And the question has asked you to create a value table for X and for f of X. And let's say that you're told to take the values of X from -4 to 16 and to do it by twos. So you put in your -4 as your initial value, enter, you highlight that cell, you go to your fill option. I'm on a Mac and mine is under here, the little find situation is I believe where you have to look for it on mine. Nope, there it is, little box with the arrow. And you go to series and you're going to choose columns and you say, I'm counting by twos. So that's your step value. And I want it to end at 16. And you say, okay. And there it is. I've created all my X values or my input values. Now I want to find its corresponding Y values when I use a particular function. And let's say that the function I'm looking for, and I'm going to go ahead and put a text box here to write down what that function is that I want. All right, so I'm going to insert a text box. And I'm going to write it down right about here. All right, and then I want to insert into this text box, add some symbols here. All righty, and I'm gonna, let's see. I'm gonna insert the following. I'm gonna say f of x equals 4x squared plus 2x. All right, I'm just making it up as we go along. So I'm going to make this a little bigger so it's easier to see. There it is. All right. So that's the formula that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in here under my output values or my Y's using my cell referencing, since remember that you can't enter X as a variable in Excel, it's only text. So I'm going to say equals to let Excel know I am entering a formula. And I'm going to say 4 times, and I'm going to reference X as -4, and I'm going to raise that squared plus 2 times, and I'm going to reference X again, and then I'm going to press enter. And apparently when X is -4 and I put it into this function, I get a Y of 56 or an output of 56. Now I'm going to go ahead and highlight that, and I'm going to use this fill right here. And now it gives me all the other corresponding Y values. So now when X is -2, I get an output or a Y value of 12. When X is 0, I get an output of 0, so on and so forth. Okay. And then you were told to take this table and create a smooth lined graph. So you go ahead and you highlight the whole table. And you go to your insert over here on my Mac. I go here to my scatter plots and I use a smooth line one. And there is the graph that I'm creating, okay? And I'm gonna put that right over here. Now, you have done that, those were parts A and B, and then you get asked, now for part C of this first problem, you get asked, how would you change? And I'm gonna put that back here in this text box. So this was parts A and part B. Let me fix that. There we go. Parts A and part B, right? That's what we've done so far. Now you get asked in part C of this first problem to adjust or change, okay, or change your table, so that's this right here, to find this. And then you're given f of, and they give you a value, and they say, let's put in 5.205, right? And they say, what does that equal? They tell you to find that. Okay. When you have this in function notation, what that's telling you is that this right here, and I'm going to highlight that. No, that doesn't work. Let's undo that. That's not what I was looking for. What it's telling you is if that this right here, f.205, is the X value that you have, they want you to find the corresponding Y value. If you look at your table, you'll notice that I don't have this value on my table. I have a 4 and then I have a 6. I don't have a 5. So they're asking you, how would you modify? How would you change this table so you could get the Y? Well, the way you would change it is you can either go back here, all right, and then you're going to go back to your fill option, go back to your series option, and play around with this step value until you can get a table that includes 5.205 here in the X column, or, which I find is the easiest way, and I give credit to one of my students who's the one who discovered this, on her own. I was hoping you guys would discover it, but it seems that it's not as obvious as I thought. So that's why I'm making this video. You go to the table that's already made, you input the X value they've given you, 5.205. And when you press enter, it automatically gives you the Y. And then you're told to go ahead and highlight this row in yellow to show that that's what you made your change. And that right there, my friends, would be how you do the answer for 5. This is all about you remembering how to read function notation, and that when it is written like this, you are being given an X value and you're being asked to find its corresponding Y value. You're being given an input value and you're being asked to find its corresponding output value. Solver, which we practiced in class today, and for those of you who take this section on Mondays and Wednesdays, you practiced yesterday, does not do that. Solver asks you to give it a Y value and it will find the X value that made it happen. Solver asks you to give it an output value and it will tell you what the corresponding input value is, which is what you have to do in part D. Okay, in part D of this first problem, you are given, they're saying, well, if f of X equals, and they give you what it equals, let's say it equals 15.232, they're saying, what was that input value that gave you this output value? Now you use solver, and you would do that by finding where it would be. This output value should be, the closest place that it should be is right here between this 12 and this 0, right? So then you would go ahead and you would put in your 12, and you would then go to your solver, okay? And where you usually in class when we practice, you set the value to 0. Instead of setting it to 0, you would set it to this value right here that you've been given. And then solver would kick back the Y value you're looking for. So I hope this video is of help to you. I am going to post it, and hopefully that will answer the questions for many of you.